Do you feel as artists that, I don't know whether it comes to your personal lives or just how to navigate society, that as an artist you don't want to draw that line? As an artist you want to be absolute and do whatever you want, but there are some restrictions that hold you back. Have you ever felt that, any of you, from this end to that?
Not very specifically yet, at least, I think. And yes, it is tempting to be completely unbridled and go for it, but that's just not realistic enough often, because we also live real lives with real people. So I think it's a bit of a mix of everything, kind of to figure out and test what the exact rhythm should be.
I feel like in the current times, a lot of the industry is a little on the back foot. It's also film, it's also OTT. We all are talking about it not being a very good time since a few years. And when people are on the back foot, I feel like they stop taking risks and telling stories that might not be very mass. So I feel like creatively, and how can you also blame them, right? They are running a business. So as a director, I can speak for myself that I would love it for those times to come back, the beginning of OTT, or maybe 10, 15 years ago where films were and the kind of films that had started doing well. It would be great for even the smaller stories and the more niche stories. Like I won a national award for my short film in FTII. That's where I began, and it's like, as you can see, the journey. And for me, I don't judge any kind of from like being an associate director on Cocktail with Homi Adajania to my national award to former shorts. I do a lot of different stuff, you know. So for me, an artist should have the freedom to do all of it, and right now it's literally become so difficult for new writers, directors, or even established ones to do even something that's slightly risky.
Like a slightly off-beaten path.
Yeah,
people
it's become very tough.
very to tread that path.
Yeah.
And that's more of the path treading, actually, because in the, what your question started with, in the personal space, I think there's a lot more give. Because if it's about like being hurtful towards people, friends, people in your life, but it's this other space which is actually
It's more
the more
political
frightening
than
space.
personal. Okay. Kunal, I was talking to Rohan Sippi, whom you work with extensively.
Yeah.
And he told me that I'm very sad that there's very little space for comedy on streaming today, because it's a lot of thrillers, a lot of crime. He's also doing a few of those.
Right.
So do you also feel that? Because I just loved whatever you guys have done together. And do you want to see more comedy, and comedy of your, say, your brand?
Well, yeah, because that means I get more work. Yeah, for sure. I just think that comedy is something that, firstly, it needs time to evolve, even with an audience. I think it needs a little space to breathe for characters, especially in comedy shows, whether it's sitcoms or whatever it is. Sometimes they pick up in a third, fourth season, and then people start watching it from the first. So it needs a little space to become part of conversations of pop culture. People start, people start referring to characters, but it takes time to really seep in. That's one thing. And the second is, it's very difficult to actually write comedy. And comedy, sometimes when you're doing something that's very specific, because the comedy genre is so vast that the tone, sometimes it's not exact. Like, you don't go with a very mass tone, then it becomes more niche in that sense. So it depends what you're putting out there, how accepted it gets, and it's just a very difficult genre to write and execute. It is the toughest of all. I mean, for me, there's nothing that's harder than comedy.